Alright, let's start the trailer. Right, so we start with Malus rising, and then Malus attacks Link's right arm. As you can see, I slowed it down. You actually get a short glimpse of Link's Master Sword. That's the only time we see it throughout the trailer. The Malus kind of moves like the green energy. Alright, so at first I thought Ganon was falling backwards, but he's really just like yelling or something. And as you can see, I cropped it out. The thing holding his belt on is the Omega symbol, and the Omega symbol symbolizes the end. And in case you don't know what it looks like, I will put up a more clear picture right now. So, hope you can see that. Also, he does not have a chest wound like many thought, myself included, although we can clearly see, however, some holes in his hand. And then Zelda falls. Nothing too much to report there. And then you see next a flash of light, similar to the one at the beginning of Breath of the Wild. So yeah. Right, so then we see Link falling, and the outfit he's wearing kind of reminds me of the one from Orden Village in Twilight Princess, but I just thought I'd point that out. And the green sash over his shoulder makes me think of the one from the Prophecy, although the rest of the design doesn't quite fit. For example, like he has the Master Sword, but the red hair doesn't really make any sense. Some say that's actually Demise or Ganon, but I think it might have been because at the end of your gameplay, the Malus that attacked Link in the beginning will have eventually changed his hair to red. That's just my theory, though. And if you look at his right hand, the one that wields the Master Sword, it's green, similar to the green energy that attacks his right arm near the beginning of the trailer. And him falling just made me think of Skyward Sword, and as many of you know, Skyward Sword will be coming out soon. And I have so many links between Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild. I'll probably go over those throughout the video, but yeah. And as you can see, his right arm looks robotic, and he has Zonai symbols on his right shoulder blade. I'll go more into the Zonai later on. I just thought I would do a paraglider comparison. And as you can see, they are very clearly different, although the one on the right is different in every way. The whole design of it and the streamers were actually going to be in the original game, but they took it out. They were put in so that way you'd be able to tell which direction the wind is blowing, and I think that'll be a very essential thing in this game, because it looks like you're going to be traveling in the air a lot, and it might be the key to transportation through the skies. I also thought I'd do a comparison of the quivers, the thing that hold the arrows. They appear to be exactly the same. Not gonna lie, I thought he was wearing snow boots, so I did a comparison, and they aren't. They just aren't. Another thing I want to point out is that the thing in the background here, I think we also see it in this clip right here where he's falling. I know it's hard to see, I see it though, so let me know if you do. Okay, I'm probably going to be talking about this scene for a bit, so as you can see, we still have some of the same fauna from the last game, and a lot of the Zelda lore talks about the Golden Land, so this could be it. And the structure in the background there, that's called a Torii Gate, and it's supposed to signify when you're going into a sacred place, so yeah, that's cool. I meant to talk about this earlier, but he has a new shield, and it has like a Shiga eye on it and like the Triforce symbols, and I think that's cool, and maybe the Triforce will play a bigger part in this game. But when you think about it, in the original Breath of the Wild, we've already seen the Triforce a couple times. Since it's the sequel, it's very likely it will actually be in Breath of the Wild too. And if you're above the clouds, you won't have to worry about rain, so that's a big plus, but the next annoying thing will probably be winds. So then we see this frog enemy, and it appears to be powered by the same green stuff that attacked Link. It has like Sheikah eye ornaments dangling from the thing that look like eggs, and speaking of which, there's a few more in the background too. They appear throughout the trailer. And it looks like it's got like a broomstick. Yeah, it looked like that, but then it looked like this. I refined it, but anyway. Yeah, it looks like a broomstick or a rocket ship. That's really up to you. But, yeah. And it looks like it's got like claws or something near the bottom of the screen. But anyway, yeah, fun stuff. So a lot of the time in games, they recreate old enemies. Although this doesn't look exactly like an Igor, that's just the first thing I thought of. And this is the first time we see Link in his Breath of the Wild clothes. And then we fly past this new Boko Camp thing, and as you can see, their horns are longer. I don't know if that means that they're more powerful or that the progression rate is different, like, you know, red, blue, black, etc. But yeah, it's good to know. Keep it in mind. And it looks like enemy encampments are going to be a little bit trickier. Right, so then we see Link's hand absorb the green stuff, and we could tell that time has passed because look at his fingernails, they're very long. And I did a comparison on the symbols on their arms, and they appear to be the same. And I know this is weird, but I did a boxer comparison. It appears he has two boxers. And there are Zonai markings on the ground. Okay, so as you can see, Link has no Sheikah Slate. I'm guessing he gave it back to Zelda at the end of the original Breath of the Wild. But as you can see, he uses a reverse time mechanism, and I think that's just the coolest. And it's hard to tell if the Moblins are different this time. Moving on to the worm thing, the first thing I notice is in the background there's like a shrine thing, and there's some green writing on the rock back there. I know it's hard to see, but it is there. And yeah, as you can see, I just thought of the worm enemy there, and okay, so as you can see, he has like a dragon head attachment to his shield, and when he does a backflip inside his mouth, it's like the green energy. And people kept saying, why can't you see Link's face? Well, there you go, you can see the left side of his face right now. And I've seen some theories. People thought that the Malice was going to change his face, like this or something. But as you can see, the left side of his face is fine. It could be the right side, though, you never know. And it is possible he had changed him physically or mentally. And another thing I noticed is his sword on the back. I know it's hard to tell, but it's certainly different. Right, so as you can see, this worm guy seems to be guarding the platform back there, similar to the frog enemy as you saw on the right. So then we see a puddle, and we see Link diving upwards, surrounded by green energy. So it's my theory that Link will have to dive into the puddle in order to go up through the stone. Another thing I noticed is that Link's hair is only down when he's in the sky, but that got me thinking, what if that's actually Zelda? Like, I know she fell at the beginning, so it's not likely. But in Japan, when a woman cuts her hair, it signifies a change, so maybe she'll be a playable character this time around, you never know. And even though we see Link's face when he's fighting the worm, we never see his face when his hair's down, so it is possible that that's Zelda. I really don't think it is, though. And as you can see, if I zoom in there, there are no pillars. In Breath of the Wild, there were pillars, so I don't know what happened to them, or if it just were forgotten to put in, but they're gone. And there are more of these egg-shaped things and the big shrine things. And as you can tell, the ground below is the same Hyrule. You can see the dragon blood trees. They're actually based off these things right here. That's what they look like in real life. Okay, so before I go any further, the music that sounds really weird, it's actually the events from 100 years ago cutscene, and then double the speed and then reverse it. That's what this is. Yeah, so that's pretty much the end of the trailer, but I just wanted to point out that I think we're missing an enemy encampment somewhere over there. I'm not sure, though. First off, I want to say these aren't all of my theories. I squeezed in a few of them during the actual trailer analysis, but these are the ones that I didn't, so enjoy. It's theory time. So first up, when the Malice attacks Link's arm, I'm assuming that it makes it so he loses his power, you know, like so he won't have Rivali's Gale or Urbosa's Fury or anything like that. He's essentially reset because it's a new game, and that's just one way to do it, you know? Next up, I was wondering if these egg-shaped things are actually Zonai markings, although I haven't seen them in the actual Breath of the Wild gameplay, so there's nothing to back me up, like nothing in the Zonai ruins or anything, so... Right, so more on the Zonai. They were an ancient Hylian tribe. that I believe worshipped the three goddesses, and especially the dragons, and eventually followed them up through the dragon portal, and eventually made their way into the upper area of Hyrule. Many of you are probably wondering, well, how come when I look up in the sky in Breath of the Wild you don't see them? Well, here's my theory. The sky barrier left there by the ancient goddess Hylia to protect them from the people down below, and that's why when we look up we can't see them. But when the dragons go through, that's like the portal to it, you know? But it looks like in Breath of the Wild 2 we'll just be able to go up like that without the portal. So I'm just gonna replay this clip. When he comes up through the ground, it looks like the portal, and that just reminds me of Midna. And a lot of people loved Midna and they want her back, but in Twilight Princess, I'm quite sure that she died. So I don't think that's gonna come back. But speaking of Midna, it makes me think of the Twilight Realm, and that begs the question, could Breath of the Wild 2 be like an alternate universe kind of thing? You know, like past or present, future, you know. Or maybe even something like the Twilight Realm. You never know. Alright, there we go. That's my trailer analysis and my theories on Breath of the Wild 2, Trailer 2.